Here's a fun question. What's the most nostalgic song ever made? What's a song that brings you back to an earlier time? Something that brings up these blurry, hazy memories that you had completely forgotten about. I think there's two pretty distinct ways that you can go about answering this. The first way is more about you and less about the song itself. I'm sure everybody can think back to when they were growing up and handpick a song that seemed to stay in that span of time while life kept moving forward. Nostalgia is based around some dreamy affection for your past and all, so you wouldn't really think of an older song that you still listen to all the time because, well, the present is not the past. You're still listening to that song, so in the back of your mind, it is not solely tied to your younger self. So it'll be different for everyone. Go back and look at a few one-hit wonders from your childhood that didn't really stand the test of time, and boom, nostalgia. For anyone around my age, those songs might sound something like this.
She wants to touch me, she wants to love me, bottles in the ice, like a blizzard. Because when I arrive, I bring the fire. I like to make myself believe.
Shawty's like a melody in my head that I can't keep out. Got me
I throw my hands up in the air sometimes, saying, hey.
If you're in your early 20s, that little montage probably gave you a few goosebumps. It brought you back to a while ago when you were really coming of age. You might feel like you have so many memories from that time, but like we said before, they're locked away deep in your mind, and it's probably a blur. But if you're much younger or much older than me, that montage probably did nothing for you. You don't have early memories with those songs, you have your own set of songs that correspond with your age and your definition of nostalgia, so let's scrap this first way to answer our overall question and move on with a way that is more universal to all ages. Instead of taking a trip down your specific memory lane, let's look at a few tracks that, in the music, in the lyrics, they almost suggest nostalgic thoughts to you. And then you do the rest. One of the easiest answers that comes to mind is Paul McCartney's iconic Yesterday. I made the point that nostalgia always seems to be accompanied by a dreamlike quality, and this song was seriously created from a dream. Paul was dreaming the melody, he woke up and immediately got to work playing it on a piano, and he started writing everything down. With lyrics reminiscing fondly about the past, and with Paul's sincere, regretful delivery, the nostalgia comes in hard.
Oh, I believe in yesterday.
It's the sign of any great storyteller. If you're able to paint an honest, authentic picture that reflects your own struggles, but then the audience can hear your words and think of their own lives in a similar way, you've done your job. I think Bob Seger's Night Moves accomplishes the same sort of idea in a slightly different way. While Paul McCartney and the Beatles seem to be longing for the past and wishing for another chance, Bob Seger paints a vivid picture of his youth without really demanding that we need to go back or something like that. It's much more chill, much more relaxing. He's a guy telling a story about adolescence. He's not romanticizing it to a point where his teenage years seemed perfect. He's just saying, remember those days? Those were fun.
Awkward teenage blues, working on a 9-month.
McCartney uses a soft and slow acoustic guitar, painting the idyllic Yesterday as a place where love was such an easy game to play.
Now I need a place to hide away.
Whereas Seger's song is faster and less serious, and he's saying, we weren't in love, we were just young and restless and bored, they were just hanging out, and he's reflecting on the days where things weren't as heavy as they are now.
We were just young and restless and bored, living by the sword.
For any movie fans out there, I think we could make comparisons to films like Blue Valentine and Almost Famous respectively. Both yield nostalgic feelings, but one is a somber tale of love lost, and the other is a more generalized look at youth and the freedom that goes along with it. On the surface, these songs may seem very different. McCartney comes off as much more melancholy and Seger more carefree, but both of them made impeccable songs that reflect on the past, and they make us, the audience, do the same. There are plenty of good examples of songs in this department, tracks where the lead singer daydreams of a time where life was just simpler. The instrumental is usually rather mellow to help emphasize the lyrics and to avoid any distractions from those lyrics. Nico's famous These Days does this expertly, but the craziest thing is that this song was written by a then 16-year-old Jackson Browne, which I can't even comprehend how someone that young wrote these wise, mature lyrics at such an early age. It was mainly popularized by its inclusion in the Royal Tenenbaum soundtrack, and the song has been covered by everyone from Elliott Smith to St. Vincent and Drake.
These days I seem to think a lot about the things that I forgot.
The legendary James Taylor is definitely a mainstay in this genre of nostalgia-based songs too. You could pretty much run down his greatest hits album for examples, but Fire and Rain is probably my choice for the big standout.
I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend.
Modern Baseball's I Think You Were in My Profile Picture Once is a fascinating example of what we're talking about too. The awkwardly long title explains the story in a rather genius way. On social media, your profile picture can act as your identity in a way, and to have somebody in your picture with you should probably mean a lot. But as time has gone on, and you've gotten to a point where you're saying, I think you were in my profile picture once, that seems to be an abstract way of saying, welp, things are not like they used to be. The song is a mere 1 minute and 20 seconds long, and it'll hit you like a ton of bricks.
I heard most things break by the ends of these types of nights.
I could go on and on. Landslide by Fleetwood Mac is one of the most sincere songs ever written, in my opinion. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. If that doesn't make you nostalgic for a different time, then I don't know what will.
Time makes you bolder, even children get old.
We've got Scenes from an Italian Restaurant by Billy Joel, Tracy Chapman's Fast Car, Jesus Etc. by Wilco. All of these are prime examples, but I think I've picked the most nostalgic song ever made. You know how we talked about the two different ways to go about choosing music that will fill you with nostalgia? The first way was about picking music from your childhood, and the second way was more about the music itself. I think there's one perfectly written song in the history of music that helps fulfill both of these methods, and that song is Rainbow Connection by Kermit the Frog. First and foremost, this song does the impossible by being a source of childhood nostalgia for all ages. We discussed before that I have my set of songs that I listened to in my youth that didn't really follow me throughout the rest of my life, but everyone watching might have different sets of songs due to people being different ages. But here's the thing, at least since 1979, when this song and the movie that it was featured in came out, there's a solid chance that every baby born since then has watched the Muppet movie and enjoyed Rainbow Connection. And to talk about the music, the lyrics, and the meaning behind the song, good God, it's incredible. The writers behind the song, Paul Williams and Kenneth Asher, wrote Rainbow Connection as the opening scene in the Muppets movie. Here's a snippet from an interview with Williams where he discusses the context of the song. It's the one that establishes Kermit as the lead character. We find Kermit sitting in the middle of the swamp. Kenny Asher and I sat down to write these songs, and we thought, Kermit is like every frog. He's the Jimmy Stewart of frogs. So how do we show that he's a thinking frog? And that he has an introspective soul and all that good stuff. We looked at his environment, and his environment is water and air and light, and it just seemed like it would be a place where he would see a rainbow. But we also wanted to show that he would be on this spiritual path, examining life and the meaning of life. I'm not kidding when I say that this is one of the most introspective, captivating songs ever written, and it was for a kids movie. Listening to the second verse genuinely gets me emotional every single time. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it. The Rainbow Connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. That is insane. That is Kermit the Frog giving a profound take on faith and spirituality and the inner child in all of us. Throughout the song, we get highs and lows. The instrumental has this beautiful sweeping score surrounding it, and Kermit's plucking his beloved banjo over everything. Rainbow Connection is about truth, it's about love, it's about youth and inexperience, courage, and believing in yourself. It has lyrics that will make anyone from age 5 to 105 think about life itself, and it's my pick for the most nostalgic song ever made.
The lovers, the dreamers, and me.
Thank you for watching that video. I'm very proud of this one. I've been wanting to talk about Rainbow Connection forever, and I just really hope you enjoyed it. If you want to support the channel, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on social media at RenshawHS. You can buy my merch, support my Patreon, and thank you again. I'll see you soon.